In the 5th century BC, two distinct civilizations stood poised for conflict on the shores of the Aegean Sea. To the east lay the vast Persian Empire, ruled by the Achaemenid dynasty. To the west, a patchwork of independent city-states known as the Hellenes or Greeks dotted the rugged landscape and islands of the Aegean. These city-states, while fiercely independent, shared a common language, culture, and a growing sense of collective identity. The Persians, under Cyrus the Great and his successors, had forged an empire that stretched from the Indus River to the Aegean. Rich in resources and manpower, the Persian Empire represented a new kind of power in the ancient world. The Greek city-states, in contrast, were small and independent, each with its own government, laws, and military. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, ignited by the Ionian Revolt, drawing both empires into a generation-long struggle for supremacy. The seeds of conflict between the Greeks and Persians were sown in Ionia, a region on the western coast of Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, inhabited by Greeks. These Ionian Greeks, while geographically separated from their brethren in mainland Greece, shared a common heritage and culture. They had long enjoyed considerable autonomy under Persian rule but chafed under the increasingly heavy hand of the Achaemenid Empire. In 499 BC, the Ionian cities, led by Miletus, rose up in revolt against their Persian overlords. The reasons for the revolt were complex, stemming from economic grievances, political aspirations, and a desire to break free from Persian control. The Ionian Greeks appealed to their mainland kin for assistance, and while Sparta declined to intervene, Athens and Eretria sent a small contingent of ships to aid the rebels. The Ionian Revolt, despite some initial successes, was ultimately crushed by the Persians. The Persian king Darius I, enraged by the audacity of the rebels and the meddling of the Athenians, vowed revenge. Darius began preparations for a punitive expedition against the Greek mainland. The Ionian Revolt marked the beginning of a half-century of conflict between the Greeks and Persians, shaping the destiny of both civilizations. In 490 BC, Darius I launched his long-awaited campaign against the Greeks. A powerful Persian fleet, carrying a substantial invasion force, crossed the Aegean and landed at Marathon, a plain on the northeastern coast of Attica, near Athens. The Persians, confident in their superior numbers, prepared to march on Athens. The Athenians, outnumbered but determined, mobilized their forces and marched to Marathon to confront the invaders. Joined by a small contingent of Plataeans, the Athenians were led by the strategos Miltiades. The Battle of Marathon, fought on a hot September day, proved to be a decisive victory for the Greeks. The Athenian hoplites, heavily armed infantrymen, charged the Persian lines with unwavering discipline and ferocity. The Persian archers and lightly armored infantry were no match for the disciplined Greek phalanx. The Persians, their lines broken and morale shattered, were routed and driven back to their ships. The victory at Marathon had a profound psychological impact on the Greeks, instilling in them a sense of confidence and self-belief. Xerxes' wrath, the march on Greece. The Persian defeat at Marathon did not extinguish the Achaemenid Empire's desire for revenge. Darius I, consumed by the humiliation of his earlier defeat, spent the next few years planning a massive new invasion of Greece. However, fate intervened, and Darius died in 486 BC before his plans could be realized. His son and successor, Xerxes I, inherited his father's throne and his burning desire to conquer the Greeks. Xerxes, determined to avenge his father's defeat, assembled a vast army and navy. In 480 BC, Xerxes launched his invasion, his army crossing the Hellespont on a pontoon bridge and marching southwards through Thrace and Macedonia. The Greek city-states, aware of the impending Persian invasion, set aside their differences and formed a united front against the common enemy. A coalition of Greek city-states led by Sparta and Athens prepared to resist the Persian advance. Thermopylae and Salamis, holding the line against Persia. The Persian advance into Greece was met with fierce resistance. At the narrow pass of Thermopylae, a small force of Spartans and other Greek allies, led by the Spartan king Leonidas, held back the might of the Persian army for 3 days. The Spartans, fighting with legendary courage and discipline, inflicted heavy casualties on the Persians but were ultimately overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, along with their Thespian allies, fought to the last man. sacrificing themselves to buy time for the other Greek forces to retreat and regroup. While the Battle of Thermopylae was a tactical defeat for the Greeks, it became a symbol of their unwavering courage and determination. The Spartan sacrifice at Thermopylae inspired the Greeks to fight on and bought time for the Athenian navy to prepare for a decisive confrontation with the Persian fleet. That confrontation came at the Battle of Salamis, a narrow strait between the island of Salamis and the Athenian coast. The Athenian general Themistocles lured the Persian fleet into the narrow strait, where the larger Persian ships were at a disadvantage. The Athenian triremes, faster and more maneuverable, attacked with fury, ramming and sinking scores of Persian ships. The Battle of Salamis was a decisive victory for the Greeks, forcing Xerxes to abandon his invasion plans and return to Asia Minor. Plataea and Mycale, the final battles. Despite their defeat at Salamis, the Persians still maintained a significant military presence in Greece. In 479 BC, the Greeks, led by the Spartan regent Pausanias and the Athenian general Aristides, confronted the remaining Persian forces at the Battle of Plataea. The Greek hoplites routed the Persian army, killing their commander Mardonius and driving the remnants of the Persian army out of Greece. On the same day as the Battle of Plataea, a Greek fleet under Athenian command defeated the remaining Persian fleet at the Battle of Mycale on the coast of Ionia. This double victory effectively ended the Persian threat to mainland Greece and marked the beginning of a Greek counteroffensive in the Aegean. The legacy of the Persian Wars, a clash that shaped the world. The Persian Wars had a profound impact on the course of Western civilization. The Greek victory over the Persians not only preserved the independence of the Greek city-states, but also had far-reaching consequences for the development of Western culture, politics, and identity. The Persian Wars marked the end of the Achaemenid Empire's westward expansion and ushered in a period of Greek dominance in the Aegean region. The Greek victory also had a profound impact on the Greek psyche. The Greeks, having faced and overcome the might of the Persian Empire, emerged from the conflict with a heightened sense of their own abilities and a newfound confidence in their political and military institutions. The Persian Wars also had a lasting impact on Western art, literature, and philosophy. The heroic struggle against the Persians provided a rich source of inspiration for Greek writers, artists, and playwrights. In the aftermath of the Persian Wars, Athens emerged as the dominant power in Greece. The Athenians, under the leadership of Pericles, used their naval power and wealth to establish an empire that stretched across the Aegean. This period, known as the Golden Age of Athens, witnessed a flowering of Athenian culture, art, and democracy. The clash between the Greeks and Persians serves as a reminder that even the most powerful empires can be challenged and defeated by smaller, more determined foes.